siya sa condition. Okay? So man na makita ninyo diri guys, wala ma-display si 5. Kay nga naman giskipan man nato si 5. So if there is some operation di on your loop nga pwede nimong skipan o dili i-perform, you can make use of the continue keyword for that. Okay? So muna siya. So sige lang siya countdown. So si 4 display na pud siya balik. 3, 2, 1. Of course, ikaabot niya 1 diri, maka-display pa siya sa value na 1. Then if NB now becomes 0, okay? Yara ha. Ikaw 1, makita pa nato ni ika-minus niya diri 0. Supposed to be mo display pa unta dinig 0. Kay nag-testing ta na aman diri sa ibabaw. Okay? Og nasayop ko diri sa example. Okay? So let me just adjust this na lang di. Okay? Kay kung tanaw na to, if NB pagsulod niya diri is greater than 0, let's say if NB is 1, di ba? Kung minusan nimo, mahimo pa man siyang 0. So ma-display pa ni diri. Okay? It is when you reach 0 that you actually exit the code. Okay? So sometimes bantayan na ni nato kanus ata mo update sa value o kanus ata mo test sa value. Okay? So makita pa jud unta ning 0 supposed to be diri. Kay the moment na value nimo is 1, na display si 1, okay? Maminusan si 1, ma-display pa man diri ang 0 na kuwangan. Okay? Okay, so again, the issue here is kanus aman gigamit ang continue. Okay? So we have demonstrated that continue indeed will work. Okay? So it will actually skip whatever statements ang naa sa ubos ana and continue to the condition part. Okay? So mora jud na si continue guys. Okay? Nga operation. Okay. So I think let's proceed na lang jud to the example, okay? Para mas mahanas ta how to use those statements, okay? Sige daw. Let's try this one. Make a flowchart that will input 10 integers, output the sum of the inputted integers. Okay? Unsaon man na nato pag-create sa program for that. Okay? So oh. Sige. So let's try to solve this problem here. Okay. So make a flowchart that will input 10 integers and output the sum of the inputted integers. Okay. So I think naka-solve na taani before, okay, when we were working with flowcharting. But just to review, okay, let us create the flowchart first before actually creating the program. Okay. So I am sending you the Jamboard link. Sige daw. Tanaw na tog nakahinumdum pa ba mo how to create a flowchart. Okay. So unsaon man ni nato nga maka-input ta 10 times sa value. Okay? and get the sum of all those input. Okay? How do we do that? Sige daw. Let's try to create the flowchart first. So, volunteers, you can start. Okay? Pwede po na ko mo start. Okay. So, type lang tayo. Start. Okay. So, for this type of problem, okay, gi-indicate naman guys, kapila nato i-perform ang repetition. Okay? So, which loop statement ang nindot gamiton for that? Nga, na-define na daan, how many times i-perform? Would you use do, while, will you use while, or will you use for loop? Okay? So, unsa kay gamiton nato. But of course, before we think of the code in C, let us first create the flowchart. Okay? Sige daw. Manawag ta. Kindly continue, Mr. Omandak. 31. Okay. So, present in the meeting. Mr. Omandak, are you still with us?
Yes, sir. Nako, sir.
Okay, sige. Unsa kay sunod natong buhaton ani Mr. Omandak? Okay. So, the flowchart should be able to allow us to input 10 numbers. So, ang uban nakalimot na unsaon pag define sa input, parallelogram. Okay? So, expected sa end. Okay? So, expected before we stop, we are to print the sum. Okay? So, how do we create the loop, guys? Come on. Mr. Amanda. Continue daw. Okay, so ako nang gibuhat ang start and the finish part. Okay. So take note when you are creating the loop, ang 3 parts nga importante kay guys, initialization, condition, and the update. So asa nato ibutang sa flowchart ang initialization nga part. Okay? Sa condition, unsa may condition natong ibutang dira, would we use a relational operator, logical operator? Okay? And the update. How will we update this variable? So, ang uban, feel free guys to help also. Okay. So, there are 32 of you here or 31 of you here. I only see 2 people working on this. So asa man nato ibutang ang initialization nga part, asa nato ibutang ang condition, and where to put the update. Sige. Can we also turn on our cameras? Para makita lang nako ang inyong mga expression while your classmates, some of your classmates are answering. Okay. Okay. So, sige. Mangutan ako, do you have a hard time understanding the problem? How about ang uban? Okay, are you answering on your seats? Okay. So katong sa mga wala mo answer diri sa Jamboard, okay? Unsa nga part ang medyo malisudan mo when implementing the flowchart? Okay? So very important guys nga makaantigo mo what the flow chart would look like for that given problem. Okay? Because once makasabot ra mo how the flow chart was constructed, mas dali na siya actually i-code. Okay? So that's why sugod sa tag flow chart. Okay? Kaya ang coding, dali naman lang dyan na ang coding, basta naa kay flowchart. Okay? And then, ang flowchart, ano na tumhibawan kung nasabtan ba dyan ninyo ang structure sa loop. Okay? So, again, when you do the loops, always take note of the 3 parts. Okay? Asa nimo i-plastar ang initialization, okay, ang condition, and ang update. Okay? So, mauna ato ang hunaon. Asa ibutang si initialization. Okay. So though it's easy to create the code directly, but again, let's start with the basic lang sa jud. Okay, flow charting sa. Okay. Okay, as our problems becomes more complicated, guys, sometimes lisod na siya hunahunaon ng solusyon kung i-code nimo diretso. Mo nang mag-anad mo og gamit og flowchart. Okay, para ma-visualize ninyo, okay, how your code actually works. Okay. Sige. So, as what you can see here, okay, na condition, we have the update, but kulang sa initialization. Okay? So, kani na initialization, na condition, na update, but I don't see the loop part. Okay? Asa man ang loop part. Okay. So when you talk about initialization, guys, you also put a value, the initial value. Mo na gitawag nato nga initialization. Okay? You need to put an initial value to the variables. So, mao na ni siya. I don't, medyo kulang asa mang araw ani. Apil pa ni siya guys, kani. Apil pa ni siya sa ato ang flowchart. Okay. So, ang question ani ron. Okay, ang question ani ron. Asa na ko ibutang ang input? Okay? Wala may input symbol. Asa ko mag-input? Okay? What I have here is, di ba, unsa ni siya nga symbol? Procedure, expression, statement. Asa man na to ang input ani? Okay. And also guys, when you do decisions or condition, di ba, ang sa condition nato is either true or false. So, na-label true, na-label false. Unsa man ni siya diri? Wa may label, trolls? Sige. So, try to correct this. Asa man diri ang para sa true, asa diri ang para sa false. Okay.
Sir, try nito check. Nasa second page.
Na pa di second page. Okay. Yara, pila ni kabukan sir diri? Ikatulo. So again, wala tay input na side. Okay. So let's check this one. Okay. So initialize ang sum, initialize si C is equal to 0, read the number, and then get the sum. Okay. Then gi-increment pod ang value ni C. Okay. So is C greater than 10? So if greater than 10 si C, if true, then i-print ang sum. If false, go back to the loop. Okay? Now, take note guys, base sa ato ang discussion earlier, loop will only work, okay, if the condition is true, di ba? Kahinumdum mo ato? Do, while, ang gipangita diri is true nga statement. Okay, the same is also true with while. Okay, so it will only perform the operation if the statement on our condition is true. Okay, so I think we need to change the condition here guys. Kay di na to pwede magamit ang false. Okay, how could we rewrite the condition para it will only go back, okay, to our statement if the condition is true. Okay, so kung tanaw na to, di ba, ang gigamit niya ganina is C is greater than 10. Okay, so if false, balik siya. Okay, however, if true, as what you can see, application guys, katong gidiscuss na to earlier nga negation. Okay, wherein gibalin niya, okay, since greater than man gihimong less than, and equal to 10. Okay, for the numbers beyond beyond 10, and this one is the number for 10 and below. Okay. Sige. So, kung magtan-aw ta sa flowchart diri guys, unsay likely gigamit niya? Do, while, or for loop? Okay, what do you think? Based on the flow chart, unsay likely gamiton ani nga statement, loop statement? Okay. Okay. Felices, any idea? Okay. Felices?
Yes, sir.
Oh, nakay idea as to unsay gigamit diri nga statement?
For?
Okay, now if you look here, unsa nga type of test ang iyang gibuhat? Post or pre-test?
Post.
Post. Okay? So unsa nga statement, loop statement ang gagamit og post test? Okay? So unsa ra nga statement ang gagamit og post test as what we can see here? Do while ra. Okay? Okay. So asa na to si Jamboard? Okay, so kani expected that we will be performing here do while statement. Kay again, ang imuhang gibuhat dere is gi-perform nimo ang test right after you perform the loop statements. Okay, so let's look for another solution pod. Asa man to ikaduha? Ikatulo. Okay, now here's another example. Unfortunately, medyo wala mahuman kisay gahimo ani. Kisay kabuhat ani. Wa lagi mo angkon. Okay. So, as what you can see, nag-una ang testing. So that means pre-test. Pero unsay kulang. Okay? Na siya'y wa ko kasabot unsa ni. Supposed to be, again, when you use parallelogram, that is supposed to be input. But murag initialization man siya nga part. Okay? So, ato na lang na-skip kay murag layo-layo man. Okay? So, how about dere? Okay? Take note guys ha, magbutang mo og label ba? Magbutang gani mo og label asa si true or false adto sa mga arrow pointing pagawas sa diamond. Like for example, dire nay arrow makita nato coming from the procedure niya niadto sa condition niya gibutangag true. Okay? Does it make sense nga nay arrow padong niya nay label nga true? Di ba it doesn't make sense kay nganuman wala may decision nga gi-perform diri nga igo ra man na siya ni balik. Okay? So ayaw ninyo ibutang dira ang label. Okay? So let's remove this. Okay? So ang label nato kung true or false ibutang na siya dito sa arrow pointing away from the condition. So unsay kulang ani? Ang kulang nato ani is wala tay input section. So probably you could put here the input section nga mubasa sa sum. Di ba? Kay mangayo man og input gikan sa user. So ani na to? Kwaon. Okay? Sige. So let's try to implement. Unahon sa nato ang kaning unang solusyon nga gagamit og do while. Okay. So initialization, sum 0, C0. What will we use there, guys? Integer lang. Okay. So, ana. Okay. So this is how you convert your flowchart into a code. So on radyo kayo na guys, straight through radyo kayo. And then as what you can see, okay, na ay read num. Unsa man ang read num. Okay? So that means napod kay another variable dire and you call it as your num. And when you say read, automatic kabaw dayon ka, that is implemented using scanf. Okay? So %d comma ampersand num. Okay? So, muna siya. Then, unsa pa siya ang gi-perform niya? C++. Butang rapid ka. And then, sum is equal to sum plus num. Okay? Or, we could also write that as sum plus equals num. Okay? So, pwede po na nato yung naon. So, ipakita lang nato. And then, what's being done here is we check, okay, for the condition wherein C is less than or equal to 10. Okay? So, since we are using do while, so therefore, this is the while part. Okay? And of course, asa man siya mubalik. Okay? Mubalik siya. Okay? This is how you implement ka ng pagbalik. Mubalik siya anhi sa read num. Okay? So read num asa man na this part here. So that is where you put the do nga statement. Okay? So that would indicate nga this is the portion nga gibalik-balik niya buhat or perform, which is kani. Okay? Then after sa while statement, it then prints the value of the sum. Okay. So display the value of the sum. Okay. So muna siya guys. Okay. So sige, let's try to run the program. Okay. And wait. Comma day. And scanf %d. Okay. So here, tanaw na to, maka-input bata ka na po. Okay. So ato na lang gamitan og number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Hala. So, nakita ninyo asa ta na sayo? Okay? So, the problem state that you are only to input 10 integers. Okay? So, tanawa guys. Kapila ta nag-input? 11 times. Okay? So, nakita ninyo unsay problem? Okay? How do we solve the problem? Okay. Hello, people? How do we solve the problem? So that we
I1,
only...
sir.
Ha?
I1 ni si C, sir, yung value ni C.
Okay. So, I1 ang value ni C. Okay? So, actually, pwede himoni mong 1 ang value ni C or you could remove the equals sign here. Okay? So, let's say, i-try sa ni nato. Okay? So, what if I1 ni nato si C? Okay, so again, padagan sa code. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so that works. Okay, So what if we do it the other way around? So si C as same ra gyapon 0, but what we will do is ang condition usbo nato instead nga less than or equal to 10, we'll just put it here C is less than 10. Okay? So running the code again, that will give us 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay? So mo na siya guys ang ato ang code. Okay, so of course kani siya based on the problem we use post testing. Okay, so how about this one? Okay, let's try to create the code implementing the loop using pre-testing. Okay, so for the pre-testing, para na lang tayo comparison, I'll just comment that out. Okay. So, same ra gyapon no, sum, then you have, I'll just change this instead nga counter, I'll just use C na lang. Okay. So, para makita nato. So, again, testing is done before. So, ang gigamit niya dire, okay, I'll just convert it na lang into while statement. Okay? So, instead nga magsugod kog 1, i-start sa gihapon na kog 0. So, that means I can still use that same condition. Okay? And then, unsay sunod? During testing, scan ang number, you do the increment, you do the summing. Okay? So, ito lang ipakita. Okay, so these are the insides of our statement. Okay, so of course, after that, i-print. So, di lang nako usbon tong gigamit nato nga print before. I will reuse it again. Okay? So, as what we can see, nagyapon ng initialization nga part, the condition and the update occurs on the inside. Okay? So instead of using do while, I'm using while right now. Okay? So, sample input, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And there you go. Okay? So, kani using pre-test. Okay? So, as you can see guys, magamit ra jud nimo interchangeably si while ug do while. Okay? Basta take note lang, when you are talking about do while, you are performing pre-testing. So, that means mandatory nga you are to execute this at least once. Whereas, ang while, pwede dili ma-execute ang sulod sa statement. Okay? So that is for the while statement. How about for the for statement? Okay? So base sa atong discussion ganina, for statement is based on pre-testing. Okay? So based on pre-testing, that means pare-pareha ra din na siya while si for loop. Unsa may nakalahian ni for loop compared ni while is ang initialization. Okay? So you could do your for loop with the initialization part for the value of C set inside the statement. So nadira atong initialization for C. Kay si C man diri ato ang gigamit kung kanus ata mo stop. And this is the condition. And instead of putting here the update, okay, I will transfer it here inside. Okay. And this is what the for statement looks like. Okay. You have here again the initialization, the condition, and the update. So again, running that sample code, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay? Same radyo gyapon. Okay? So right now, we have demonstrated how to make use of the 3 loop statements, okay, for that same problem. Okay? So, again guys, sa loops, you can use them interchangeably. Okay? But just like when you use the if statements and the switch, it all has their own pros and cons. Okay? So again, as stated, it is recommended that kung kabaw na gani ka, kapila nimo i-perform ang operation, I suggest you use for loop. Okay? But if you are not sure as to when mo stop ang number of repetition, then while and do while is recommended for those purposes. Okay? So this is for our example problem. Okay? So as what we can see here guys, let's say if we are to modify, okay, our code based on the problem number 2, di ba? Ang nakanindot sa loop, gamay na lang kay kag-usbon. Let's say for number 2, unsa may gipangayo niya diri? Input 20 scores of students and output the average of the score. Okay? How will we do that here? Okay? How can we modify this for the second problem? Nga kwaon ang average. So again, simple ra kayo, di ba? All you need to do is modify, okay, the number of repetitions based on the condition. So nanakay 20 inputs. Since nanakay sum dire, all you need to do is how do you solve for the average?
Divide 20.
Okay, so ano ra? Now, since you are using division, unsa to'y rule ana? Expected, the result is in float.
Float.
Okay. So, pwede ra kamay nun, sum. Di ba? Divided by, pila to? 20. So, himo na lang na nimong float. Okay? So, 2.0. Para ang result niya, sum divided by 20.0 is in floating point format. Okay? So, di ba, mora man ang rule. If you want to modify the value into a floating point format, one of the operands must be a floating point. So, instead of using 20, we use 2.0. Okay? Kay kabawta ang sum is an integer value man. Okay? So, ing ana ra ka simple guys, ang loops. Okay? Maka-add o kuha sa average sa score sa 20 kabuok students. So, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay? So, there is the sum. You divide it by 20, so you get 10.5. So, that is in floating point format. Okay? So, how about this one? Make a C program to input 20 integers and output the average of all positive odd integers. Okay. So, how do we modify the code? Okay, so nanatay code that would enable us to input 20 integers. Pero, ang output nato is ang average raman sa tanang positive odd integers. Okay? So, dili na nato siya ma-add diretso tanan. Okay? So, there will be an extra condition that you need to perform. Okay? So, unsa man ang condition? Ang pag-check sa positive odd integers. How can you check if the integer is positive and odd? Okay. Oh, anyone? What would be the condition that we will use?
Greater than 0, sir. Yeah.
Okay. So, condition lang, di ba? If num is greater than
0.
0.
Yes, odd, sir. Kay kung sir.
Unsa
Nasa
pa?
remainder nga 1.
Okay. So, aside from greater than 0, napod kay condition nga num naman. So, odd number. How will we know if the number is an odd number?
Modulo 2, sir. Yeah, not equal to 0.
Okay. Modulo 2 not equal to 0. Okay. So, if the result of num modulo 2 is not equal to 0, okay, then therefore we can say it is an odd number. Okay, so actually, pwede ram ni nato matangtang. Okay, kaya nga nung gitangtang man to is not equal to 0 because if you perform num modulo 2, if it returns 1, then therefore, it's an odd number. So, mo satisfy ra, di ba? So, if the result num modulo 2 is 0, then that is an even number. So, if it's an even number, since naka-and man ni siya, dili siya musod ani nga statement. Di ba? So, dili siya ma-add. Okay? So, actually, mo na usa sa mga shortcut, guys. But, of course, kung ganahan ka, readable ang imuhang code, pwede ra jud ka mo gamit ana og relational operator. Okay? Para makita jud nimo kung unsay gi-compare diri. So, using the not equal to 0 would actually say to us nga, mao day. Kay kung equal to 0, mahimo na siyang detecting even numbers. So, nag-ingon makag not equal to 0, so therefore, ang imong gi-detect diri is odd number. Okay? So, instead of using not equals, you can also make use of equals, di ba? Set lang na nimo to 1. Okay? So, mao nang kung mag-exam gani, dapat lain-lain jud na siya og answer dira. Okay? Kay kung magkapareha ganig answer tanan, tunga-tungaan nila ang score siguro. Okay? So, again, we use this condition para ma-verify lang nato that only those that are positive odd numbers are added. Okay? Is this enough? Okay? So, we were able to detect the positive odd numbers. How about for the average? Okay?
So,
How about for the average? 20 bagyapon? Okay? So, out of 20 integers nga to ang gi-input, posible ba nga odd numbers tanan?
Dili.
Dili, di ba? So, kailangan ta dire og another variable, and I'll just call that as my div. Okay? Og unsa man ni si div? Div will serve as my divisor. Okay? And unsa man ako pag-modify ang value ni div? Anhi na to i-modify ang value ni div, di ba? Kung i-add gani na nimo, kay tungod kay ang number is a positive odd number, So you will use also this condition to modify the value of div. Di ba guys? So samtang nag-add ka dire sa imuhang positive odd number, imuha sad nang gi-monitor kung ikapila na siya nga number nga imuhang gi-add. Kay you will be using that value as your divisor here. Okay? So, of course, since puro integer man na sila, we can use typecasting. Okay? To modify the value. Okay? So, more na siya guys. Okay? Ang ato ang program. Okay? So, aside sa loop, okay, pwede radyo din na siya nga butangan nimo og mga conditional statements sa sulod. Okay? So, muna siya ang ato ang solution for number 3. Og ato pa ning i-test. Okay?
Sige daw, sir.
Sige, i-test na to. Nya, unsa yato ang i-test? Mao ra gyapon nga numerohan, no? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay? So, ang sum niya is 100. Ug ang average is 10. Okay? So, kinsa may mga gipang-add niya. So, si 1, si 3, si 5. So, pila na? 9 plus 17. So, nana kay 16 plus 9. Nana kay 25. Okay? Plus 11. You have already 36 plus 13.
49.
Okay? Plus 15.
64.
Okay? Plus 17.
81.
Plus 19.
100.
Nya, pila to kabuk number sa to ang gi-add?
Ano po, sir?
Yun po. Okay? So, sakto ra ang average. 10. Okay? So, para makita na to, pilay value. Okay? So, you say sum. Yeah, natay divisor, %b. So, ito pong i-display ang value ni div. Naatay idea as to pilay value atong gigamit pag-divide. Okay? So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay? So, muna siya. Sum is 100. The divisor that we use is 10. Okay, there are only 10 odd numbers here. And we have the average 10. Okay? So, more na siya, guys. Okay. So, some additional problems. Daghanap ani. So, pa na lang. Okay? For you to be able to practice more, okay, try opening CodeCham. Okay, so I have already opened that up. Okay, si CodeCham. Okay. So, pwede na ninyo ma-open guys ang kaniato ang, asa naman to? AM. Okay. So, there's still some good numbers who are not able to finish their conditions. Part na siya sa itong midterm. Grade ra ba? So, make sure, try to finish the lesson here and answer, guys. Okay? So, next meeting, we will be having activities, okay? Para mas ma-practice ninyo ang loops. So, again, piece of advice, okay? kung maglisod gani mo og sabot and directly implement the code, gamiti og flowchart. Okay? Okay, just like what we did earlier, di ba? When we made the program. Okay? All we did was create the flowchart. And all I did was simply implement the code based on the flowchart that you have created. Okay? So with it, you can never go wrong. Kung tanaw ganin mo, masubay ra jud nimo ang flowchart, then mugana ra sa jud na ang imuhang code ana. Okay? So again guys, try to answer the exercises provided in CodeChamp. Okay, so all these exercises are simple exercise, mga 15 kabuok, o 15 ba? 5, 10, 15, okay. So there are mga 15 short exercises that you will be performing, okay? Nga naa diri. Okay? So again, mga simple naman kayo ni siya nga mga activity, okay? Just to get you well acquainted with the use of loops. Okay? So for next meeting, maura dyan niya ang buhaton sa exercises. Okay? Yeah, maghatag lang niya ako kwan. Mas nindot-nindot nga problem. Okay? So napatong mga kwan ninyo guys, mga formula ninyo in chemistry nga natanaw ninyo nga, uy, mugamit naman ni loops. Okay? Kay katong last time nga ato ang gibuhat, kwan man to siya, more on conditional man to siya nga mga problems sa chemistry. O niya ra, sa inyo ha ba to? Sa PCAS dito siya nga section. Okay? Sa PCAS to nga section di ay. So in your case, okay, just to give you an overview, no, where you can use loops again, entry validation, guys. Okay, let me show you an example kaning gitawag natong event controlled nga mga loop statements. Okay, kay kaniya atong gibuhat karon, counter controlled man ni siya, kay gidefine naman daan how many times nato i-perform ang repetition. Okay, so let me give you an example of an event controlled. Something like this. Which may an example. Continue. So tubagon na nimo with either a yes or a no. Okay. So very common no sa mga game, okay? Nga mo prompt, continue, yes or no. Okay? So kung maingon og no, kung sumaya ang buhaton, kung maingon og no. Okay? So let's say for instance, kailangan nato mo scan og input. Okay? So since we are asked to input y or n, so therefore we are expecting that you need an input na character. Okay? So I'll just make use of CH na lang, short for choice. Okay? So here is an example where you will be using do while. Okay? So at least once, okay? Para mo prompt ani. Kanya we do the testing after. So mga entry validation nga magsigig balik-balik until mapulan ka and you give up. So if CH is equal to yes, so Y. Papan diyan. While CS is equal to no. Lang diyan. Ay kung mo yes, mo diretso na kadiri sa second part. Okay? So here is an example of an event triggered loop wherein there is no particular number of times how your code is to be repeated. Okay? So mag-agad siya base sa input sa user. So let's just create a character CH there. Okay. So run the code. As what we can see, continue, yes or no, nakuha nga de close parenthesis. But anyway, if you type there no, magsige na siya ask. Diba? So always na siya magbalik-balik og pangutana. Okay? So until you say yes. So the moment you say yes, exit na siya sa imuhang loop. Okay? So nindot kay gamiton guys no? Sugton ko nimo or dili. Mutubagay no, sugton ko nimo or dili. Okay? Until mapulan, musulti na lang jug yes. Okay, lain na pod no.
Sir.
Mamugos di ay.
Di jud na sir.
Lagi. Okay. So napigingon nato nga moingon gani og kuan. Moingon gani og no. Okay? Pwede na to addan og condition. Okay? Sa may butang nato nga condition dire.
No gay it's a dias pantalan.
Okay? So money usa ka example wherein you can use break, okay, or any condition that you might want to check. If let's say if CH is equal to no, okay, wa naman jud na pag-asa kay definite no naman jud ang answer. Okay, so pwede ka mo return. Okay. So, pwede na ito i-return 0. So, that means it will allow you to automatically exit the entire program. Okay? So, di na yung i-perform ang ubang operation. Okay? Grabe yung pangluod ba? Okay? Whereas, when you say yes, at least napakay-perform nga operation dire. Okay? However, kung ang tubag gani is neither yes or no, di ba? Kung ang tubag niya is A baron, okay? Or
Sir, or. Yes or no, or.
Ano man to? While CHN is equal to no, pwede na ito ibutang dire. While CHN is not equal to no. Ang problema, okay, else if butang ta, okay, CH is equal to yes, okay, so break. Okay, so here is an example how you could use break in the event nga let's say gi-modify naman nato ang condition. Okay, sa ato ang condition gi-appeal nato og consider ang ubang inputs. Kay ganina if you put A, B or C, di man ni i-consider, di ba? Ni-exit ra siya. Okay, so diri karon ato ang gi-consider na as long as di siya mo no, pwede ka magsigig balik-balik sa imong pangutana until it answers you yes. So the moment nga matubag na kag-yes, you exit the loop. Then you proceed with your life. Mana na imong life dira. Getting the average. Okay? So, kung ato ang i-demonstrate, okay? So, continue, yes or no. So, kung wakay klarong tubag, pwede ra ka magsigig pangutana. Di ba? So, meaning, napay chance, no? Mao ba na, guys? Kung may klarong tubag, kay di man kasultig no.
Oh, di ka
Kasi
direct.
kasultig yes, di ba? So meaning na pa'y chance. So pwede pa magsigi og pangutana. Okay? But kung ingon na gani nag-no, end of story. Di ba? Wa na'y laing buhaton. Okay? Undangin na siya. Ayaw nagpamugos. Okay? So, maurapod na dire. If let's say for example, again, paligoy-ligoy og tubag, way klarong answer nga definite yes or no baron. Okay? But the moment nga musulti na gani og no, unsa ganito? No ba to? Di day yes di ay. So, pwede na ta magpadayon sa to ang kinabuhi. Like getting the unsa to? Average. Okay. So, mo na siya basta mo yes na. Okay? So, kapadayon na ka sa next activity. Okay? So, you can also use that. Okay? Labi nagnaa ka mo namoy part sa code nga choose only yes or no. Okay? So, pwede na nimo isud og loop para ang user sure ka have only choose yes or no before you proceed to the next part. So, mura siya kwan guys, kanang entry validation ba nga, dili ka ka-proceed sa next step until you get the first part nga input correctly. Okay? So, sometimes very important na siya nga procedure sa imuhang code. Especially ang code nimo kanabang particular gani kayo sa entry, like let's say, put only numbers between 1 to 5. Nya naaman jud ka ng mga gahi kig ulo ba nga imbis nga 1 to 5 bra ang answer butangan jud 10. Okay? According to Canonigo, to prevent mananaps from the code. Okay? Actually, aside sa mananap guys, it can also help minimize the additional code that you need to put sa inyong mga condition, di ba? Kay imbis nga magbantay ra kag 1 to 5 nga numbers, tungod kay nay mga gahi kig ulo, imuhang i-appeal sa imong condition nga what if ang iyang answer is more than 5? So magbutang na pud kag laing else didto. Okay? Labad kay na sa ulo. So pwede nimo ma-specify nga as long as dili gani siya mohatag sa saktong answer, di jud siya ka-proceed sa next step. Okay? So, okay, what else can we do with loops? Okay? So loops can be very useful sad na siya guys. Again, for creating functions po. When you create your own functions, let's say, have you tried using the power function? Okay, so we have a power function here in the math library of C. But we could actually create our own power function. Okay? How do we create such a function? Okay, so again, simple lang a function. Let's say float power. Pwede nilang panganlan og my power. Okay? So usually sa imuhang power naa kay unsa na siya? Integer base. Then let's say integer power. Okay? So, anhin na lang na ko i-implement sa ibabaw. Okay? So, usually, if you are just working with pure integer, we can have the return type integer gyapon, di ba? Int like that. Int answer, so automatic na yun. Okay? Return answer. Okay? So I think wala man siguro ay possibility no na if your power is an integer o ang base nimo is also an integer, you will have a floating point nga result. Okay? So kung ang base nimo is integer and the power is integer, expected man ang output nimo for the power will also be an integer. Okay? So, how do you get the power of a number, by the way? If we are to use loops. Okay? Sige. How do you get the power of a number if you use loops? Okay? Unsay strategy ana? Okay? So, mingon ka og 2 raised to the power of 3. What do you do?
Multiply, sir.
Diba?
Base
2
na to.
times 2 times 2. Diba? Ana raman na siya. So, mingon kag 2 to the 2. So, 2 times 2 ra. Okay? So, mingon kag 2 to the 1. Kapila nimo i-multiply? Ana ra, 2 ra. Okay? Or times 1. Okay? And when you say 2 to the 0, how do you do that? Kapila nimo i-multiply? Lo. Limot na kayo. Lo.
1 ang answer, sir.
Ah. Di ba? Any base number raised to the power of
Power
0 is
zero
1
is
man.
one.
Ang uban ay murag na kinuktok oy. Ni post kadyot nalimot sa number system nila. Okay? So for the flowchart, okay? How would you create the flowchart? So probably pwede na nimo condition daan. Okay? Particular ani. Di ba? Kung nana kay power of 0, automatic dayon nga 1 ang result. Okay? Di ba? Pwede na ka magbutang og condition if your power is, unsa na siya, equal to 0. Then return 1. Okay? Unsa pa? Base sa ato ang nakuha, else if, di ba? If power is equal to 1, unsay buhaton? Unsay i-return nga value? Return the base. Okay? Kay kung ang power nimo is 1, ang value ra man na sa base. Okay? So of course, anhin na nadawgon sa else. Okay? Kato imuhang loop kung kapila ka mag-multiply. Okay? So sige, let's try to implement. Okay? So una, if unsa to siya? If P is equal to 0, then you can just return 1. Okay? Or pwede po din mo iset diri guys. Okay? Ans is equal to 1. Okay? So else if P is equal to 1, then therefore unsa to? Ans is simply equal to the base. Okay. So finally, else, since medyo daghan-daghan naman ning i-perform, okay, again, for safety, make it a habit nga i-enclose sila og curly brackets. Okay. Okay, so ako lang butangan na para maanad ta nga always with curly brackets. So dire guys, how will we know kapila siya i-perform ang repetition? Okay? Based dire sa ato ang gibuhat initially, okay? If you are to have a power of 3, you also multiply your value 3 times. If 2 gani, you multiply it 2 times. Okay? So kung mag-create kag loop, maka-define na ba ka how many times nimo i-multiply? Based on the value of P? Pwede, di ba? The number of P will define how many times nimo i-multiply ang imuhang number. Okay? Hello, guys? You still there? Okay. So, kung ingana gani nga mga scenario nga dali or mahibaw-an na nimo kapila i-multiply, then you use for loop. Okay? So, of course, initialization, gamit ta og so may gamito nato dire. Variable lang. Let's say I lang ba. Okay? So, pwede na ito mabutang for the value of I, magsugod ba ka og 1, and while I is less than, unsa man, the value of P, then I plus plus. Okay, would that do kaha? Then unsa to i-perform nato dire? Okay. So what operation will we do here? Okay. So sudlan sa nimog value si ans daan, di ba? So answer will be equal to the base. Okay? Para si ans nanay sulod daan. Okay? So which is, let's say kung nakay value nga 2, na nakay 2 daan. Nya kapila man nato i-multiply si 2. Let's say given that the power is 2. Okay? So how do you do multiplication? Shorthand, times equals the value of the base. Okay? Sakto ba? So, pwede na mo i-simulate dayon guys. Okay? So, starting with the value of I equal to 1, then kung ang power nimo is 2, okay? So, if I is equal to 1 is 1 less than P, true. So, it will perform it. Okay? And then, si I nga 1, i-increase nimo, mahimo ng 2. 2 is it less than the power nga 2? No. So, exit na siya. Okay? So, inganaw lang ninyo pag-trace. Okay? So, again, mag-sample ta. Okay? So, in a loop, okay, it would also be nice if you do the tracing manually. Okay? So, let's say given that you have a base B is equal to 2. Nya moingon kag P is equal to 4. Okay? So kung imuha ning i-try og trace, again unsay buhaton niya? Ang answer nimo is equal to 2 currently. Okay? Nya with I equal to 1, okay? So i-check dayon, is I less than P? What is P? 4. And what is I? I is 1. So, since true man siya, i-multiply si answer with the base. So, it will be performing 2 times 2. Okay? So, ibalik sa for loop, pila na may value ni I after adding 1? I now would be 2. Is 2 less than 4? Yes. So, multiply na pod og 2. Okay? So, increment I, mahimo ng 3 si I. Is 3 less than 4? True.
Yes, sir.
Multiply na pod og 2. So, si I, mahimo ng 4. Is 4 less than 4? False. Gawas na siya. So, therefore, how many times did we multiply 2? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so sakto na siya. Okay, so nahimo na siyang 2 raised to the power of 4. Okay, so you can now try out your function nga gi-create. Okay, so let me just comment this out. ug asa man to. So very useful kayo ang kaning mga kwan guys, kaning gitawag nato nga loops, okay? So right now, di ba, na naman mo kwan, calculus. Okay? So pwede na ninyo magamit ang calculus dire. Okay? To solve problems in calculus. Okay? Of course, sa kwan ra, computing ra. Like for example, mag-compute kag area. Okay? Sa irregular nga shape. Okay? So, pwede nimo magamit ang calculus to compute for the area. Okay? So, sige, gamito na to. Kung saan man ito ang gani dire. MyPow di. Okay? So, print if. So, let's say %b. Yeah, tawag ta ni my Okay, unsay ato ang power. Let's say 5 raised to the power of 2. Okay? Anin lang sa 2 eh. So let's say 2 raised to the power of 8. Okay? So pila may result sa 2 raised to the power of 8. Okay? So running the code. So you have here. Okay? So, 2 raised to the power of 8 is 256. Okay. So, you can actually easily implement, guys, okay? Kanang mga mathematical function nga naa na sa C with your own function. Okay? Of course, with the help of loops po. Okay. Diba? Dali na lang kayo. 5 raised to the power of 8. 390,000. 625. Okay? So again, kung magtanaw ka, kanang mga functions gipanggamit ninyo dira sa C are actually just, again, codes created with selection or repetition na statements. Okay? So, with this topic that we have discussed so far, pwede na ninyo ma-interpret ang inyong mga problems in chemistry, okay, with their appropriate program. Okay? Pwede na ninyo himuan mo kwan. Pwede na mo ka-perform og automation, guys. Di ba? So, kanang mga problems ninyo in chemistry nga repetitive kayo ang computation, okay? Pwede ninyo himuan og program para igo na lang mo mag-input sa parameters and you won't be performing the repetitive task of always typing in the code, di ba? Tagsa-tagsa pa ka. Okay. So let's say for example, you have 2 inputs niya sa formula sa chemistry baran, nag-multiply, nag-divide, nag-subtract, nag-multiply na po. Imbes doing that repetitive work, why not create a program for it? Nga, kato na lang 2 inputs mo i-enter nimo sa imong keys. Okay? So, you won't be relying much on kanang mga mahalon nga calculator nga pwede ka maka-input og formula. Okay, di ba? Na may cellphone. Nya pwede pa jud ka maka-create og imong program using mga offline compilers. Okay? So anyway, again, ana lang sa ta for now. Okay? Next meeting, we will allot our time on exercises. Okay? So ipahuman to nako tong exercise ninyo sa loops. Okay. So ana lang sa ta. And before we go, can we turn on our camera? 12 naman di ay. Nya, mangwinta niya tano katong mga nangapil sa games. Okay, kung kanus sila manglibre. So, where are the others? Valyesado, Ligues, ug nagsaba-saba na ang mga manok. Okay, Valyesado, are you still with us? Napa ba si Valyesado? Nagdubli account. Asa din, usan mo ka-account, Valyesado?
Para sir, puti siya sir.
Kanang puti. Paitan yung mga dubli ko, eh. I-raise ko no ang hand katong nag-on ang camera ni mo, Valyesado. Turadi ay. Okay. Sige, at my count. 1, 2, 3. Chess. Tura. Okay, so next meeting, again, asynchronous lang sa ata next meeting. Okay, so more on exercises ang inyong buhaton guys next meeting. Okay. Okay, ay, muag to pa mi sa eskwelahan kay wa pa mahuman na mong training.
Face to face na sir.
Face to face mi dito kay wa may lang option. Magamit man sa iMac niya. Wa man may iMac. Naaro man sa eskwelahan ang laboratory for iMacs. Laisyo na kay si Teo no, iMac na gamit.
Ang hatag sa sir.
Di man nila panghatag eh. Pero mao lagi bati kay pagkapalita kay 2 years from now obsolete na siya, di na suportahan sa Apple kay lahi naman ang processor nga gigamit karon, mga M1 chips naman kato Intel pa man. i5 pa jud. Sayang. So anyway, mao lang na for now guys. So again for next meeting, agto lang mo sa CodeCham. Okay? Do the exercises. Okay, so more on exercises lang sa ata next meeting. Okay, so next week, okay, we will be having a quiz. Okay, next week. So mo nang next meeting, practice mo. Okay, coding. Okay, so ako lang yan yung i-upload ang notes. And I think wala naman siguro no, wala issue. So sige, if wala na question, we could go now. So goodbye everyone and God bless. Take care always. Okay?
Goodbye sir, thank you sir.
Yeah.
God bless sir.
Ang kanya ha,
Bye, sir. Thank you, sir.
sa CodeCham na ba, katong mga na-issue sa CodeCham, katong sa mga activities, mamalihog lang ko o make a summary and just submit it to Miss Igot. Okay? Sige, mga rato guys. Goodbye.